Tonight on SUTV News, a recap of Advocacy Day in Harrisburg, PA.
And Pittsburgh has passed new legislation following the Tree of Life synagogue shooting.
All that and more right now. Thanks for joining us on SUTV News. I'm Sean Rapp.
And I'm Isabella Marcelino. Shippensburg University faculty and students visited the state capitol in Harrisburg yesterday to talk with legislators and government officials about the future of the PASHE system. Using the hashtag #PreparedForPA, students from across the region spoke about their experiences and made connections with other schools. The group gathered in the main rotunda to kick off the annual advocacy efforts, following separate appearances before the House and state committees. Serving more than 100,000 degree-seeking students, the state system is the largest provider of higher education in the Commonwealth. Shippensburg University is part of the system and hopes Advocacy Day will remain a positive experience for both students and representatives. Do you like beer and do you like art? Well, Shippensburg University's art department has a way to put those two together. The Appalachian Brewing Company, located downtown, has opened their upstairs loft to preview a community-driven art space featuring student exhibitions from Shippensburg University students. The first exhibit, Enlargement Cardboard Transformation, featured oversized everyday objects like a toothbrush and Beats headphones.
The idea that we could come downtown, pioneer rough space, and turn it into graduating seniors spaces, so they go from student artists to professional artists with their own space.
Dr. Dolbin looks forward to new and exciting art to display and hopes this art space will bring the arts to the town of Shippensburg.
Graduation is exactly a month away, but one Ship senior is already making a difference in the world. Sarah Kistner was selected to serve as a Peace Corps volunteer. Kistner was one of the first people to apply to Ship's Peace Corps prep program that launched in the fall of 2018. After graduation next month, she is heading to Colombia, serving as a secondary education English teacher trainer. Kistner says she was inspired to join the Corps after her semester studying abroad in Peru. John Kuhn, or as fans like to call him, Kuhn, will be returning to Shippensburg University on May 11th as the undergraduate commencement ceremony speaker. Kuhn was a class of '04 graduate with 27 school records and 4 PSAC records. The 2004 PSAC Western Division Offensive Player of the Year went on to play in the NFL for 13 seasons as an undrafted free agent. In his 13 years, Kuhn went on to be a 2-time Super Bowl champ, 3-time Pro Bowler, and won All-Pro honors in 2012.
3 Ship students placed third in the annual business plan competition this week. Each fall semester, students from all 14 PA state schools compete against one another for an opportunity to get their own business funding. David Brantley, Alex Stimson, and Patrick Lubin, all marketing majors and athletes at Ship, captured third place for a customer loyalty program idea for local businesses that rewards customers through drawings and cash prizes called Marco. Top prizes in the competition went to Westchester and Millersville University. Cynthia D. Shapira, chairwoman of the Board of Governors, says this competition and the students who participate truly do represent what the state system and our universities are all about.
Pittsburgh has a new law making it illegal to load, brandish, display, discharge, point, or otherwise use an assault weapon within the city. The mayor signed the law Tuesday, but other groups are already fighting against it. CNN's Rick Earl has more.
Surrounded by city council members, family members of Tree of Life shooting victims, and survivor Dan Lager, Mayor Bill Peduto signed the gun legislation.
The 4 bills are now law.
A thunderous applause, along with hugs and tears of support as the mayor praised council for taking a stand.
Our residents have a constitutional right to life, and that outweighs a gun manufacturer's right to profit.
The new law that bans the use of certain assault-style weapons and ammunition will take effect in 60 days and carry a fine of up to $1,000. After the signing, one councilman nearly in tears.
Usually one of these black kids, young men, are shot and killed. And so we have to work together to stop that carnage.
A handful of opponents gathered outside the mayor's office just before the signing. Gun rights advocates filed a civil lawsuit against the city, claiming state law prohibits them from enacting gun control.
I really can't see how taking legal guns away from legal law-abiding citizens is going to make the residents of the city any safer. In fact, it may have exactly the opposite effect.
They also plan to file private criminal complaints against the mayor and council. The mayor says they're prepared to fight back.
If we didn't challenge laws, women would not have the right to vote. If we didn't challenge laws, the civil rights movement would never have happened.
The legislation will also give the courts power to take weapons from people deemed to be at risk. The NRA says it helped Pittsburgh residents file a lawsuit to challenge the ban.
Have you seen the first ever picture of a black hole in space? Well, this woman, Katie Bowman, gets the credit for making it happen. Since black holes are supposed to be invisible, seeing one is a feat all on its own, but they do cast shadows onto material around them. But being so far away in the galaxy makes them elusive photography subjects. An international group was able to capture the image by using an algorithm developed by Bowman 3 years ago. At the time, she was a graduate student at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. And this fall, Bowman will be an assistant professor at California Institute of Technology. Well, a famous sandwich chain has left King Street. SUTV's Nolan Huffman has more in this week's Know Your Ship.
Hi, I'm Nolan Hoffman for this week's Know Your Ship. A longtime subway chain on the corner of King and Fiat Street has closed its doors after serving the Shippensburg community for 30 years. Owner Jason Beckenbaugh recently decided not to review the chain restaurant's lease and decided to focus on operations at the larger subway located beside the Walmart shopping center. There are not confirmed plans of what they might do next. That's it for this week's Know Your Ship. If you have any questions or concerns about SHIP, email SUTV PR Director Tyler Danson at td5685@ship.edu or message us on Facebook at SUTV News. Your idea might just be featured on the next Know Your Ship. Back to you guys at the desk.
When we come back in world news, a constitutional amendment in Cuba.
And the best tips to stay healthy before flying.
Well, what's happening this week in the slate? Brianne Shekels has more.
Coming up in the slate on Tuesday, we will give you the scoop on the art gallery opening the top floor of Appalachian Brewery in downtown Shippensburg. Other stories include a response to the Slate Speaks about the SGA election speeches and David Brantley's team taking third in the PASHE Business Plan competition. There will also be a feature story on the new Hire Me program, which is a job coaching program for special education students in high school. Be sure to pick up the next edition of the Slate in newsstands or visit theslateonline.com.
An update on the 2017 USS Fitzgerald vessel crash. SUTV's Paige Ahrensmeyer has this week's world news.
Paige?
Cuba proclaimed the new constitution in the National Assembly Wednesday. This is the first constitutional change in 42 years. The new constitution was approved in a referendum on February of this year. It will have 229 articles, 11 titles, 2 special provisions, and 13 transitory and 2 final. The Navy announced today it's dropping charges in the deadly 2017 vessel crash. The USS Fitzgerald, a guided missile destroyer, collided with a cargo ship off the coast of Japan on June 17, 2017, resulting in 7 sailor deaths. Officials say the U.S. Navy failed to take action minutes before the collision. Last year, several charges, including negligent homicide, were filed against an ex-commander, 2 lieutenants, and 1 lieutenant junior grade. The U.S. Navy is now saying the accused officers will receive non-judicial punishment. Along with the continuation of a job dismissal, they won't be allowed to return to the ship. Officials also said additional training and preparedness plans are underway to help prevent future crashes. 8 people are under arrest in Uganda in connection with the kidnapping of an American tourist and a local guide. There are conflicting reports as to whether ransom was paid. The pair were released 6 days after they were abducted at gunpoint. CNN's Robin Creel has a look at their first moments of freedom.
During this emotional reunion, In the background, Kimberly Sue Endicott cracks a joke.
I need to take a shower. I've had people telling me what to do for 5 days.
It had been mere moments since a tense ransom and hostage exchange. Before that, days of walking, crossing borders into the lawless Democratic Republic of Congo, sleeping in the open and relentless mosquitoes. Yet, after a hot shower and a hot meal, Kimberly Sue Endicott reappears a survivor. Now coiffed and composed, displaying a range of emotions as she savors her first hours of freedom. She's still surrounded by strangers, but these are the ones who are giving her comfort and protection, perhaps the beginning of a friendship that may continue, inviting them to visit her in California. As she walks the dusty 5-minute journey to the waiting police helicopter, flanked by armed US and Ugandan officials, she shows flashes of humor amid the tension.
Okay, I have a question. Should I learn how to shoot a gun?
But also a more serious moment.
It's what you were talking about.
And a moment of compassion for her guide, Jean-Paul Mirenge, known as JP, who was kidnapped with her and shared the trauma of the ordeal.
You okay? Are you sure?
A new bond with strangers.
Ugandan police tell CNN they've arrested 8 people thus far for the kidnapping of Endicott and Mirenge. Kimberly Sue Endicott's friends back in Southern California tell the tale of a very private woman whose face is now known across the world. For now, she's here in Uganda in the care of U.S. Embassy and FBI officials. Robin Creel, CNN, Kampala, Uganda.
And lastly today, summer is right around the corner, which means summer vacations. But before you take that flight, here are some tips on how to stay healthy. Airplanes act as giant petri dishes when not maintained properly. With a closed space, recirculating air, and lots of people, it's a bacteria breeding ground. After tests, they found that tray tables were by far the most contaminated part of a plane. It's then followed by the air vent and then the seatbelt. So before you travel high altitude, wipe down your seatbelts, seats, and trays before you sit down. Stay hydrated and choose a window seat. The further you are from other passengers, the better. And of course, carry your hand sanitizer and your antibacterial wipes. You never know when you're going to need them. Back to you guys at the desk.
Well, Sean, I'm getting ready to travel to Ireland here after graduation, so knowing those tips, I know we're both kind of neat freaks here. Very OCD.
Oh yeah, I mean, I carry hand sanitizer wipes everywhere I go. Clean freak, I don't like that kind of stuff.
Good to keep that in the back of your mind. Well, when we come back in entertainment, the Beehive is buzzing. Beyonce is coming to Netflix.
And Dancing Queens Unite, Mamma Mia, starts tonight. Well, Bella, it has been beautiful weather. It's been great. Spring game coming up on Saturday. Are you going to be there?
I will be there. I'm really hoping for some nice weather.
Jake Rom and I will be doing color and play-by-play, so I'm hoping for nice weather as well.
Awesome. Let's send it over to Jillian to see if that weather's coming.
Sean and Bella, remember when I told you the theme of last week? Well, it's going to blow over into this week as well. It's going to be sun, then rain, a constant back and forth again. Tonight, as the sun goes down, temperatures are going to go down as well, and clouds are also going to start setting in. This is going to bring us with an afternoon and evening of some showers for Friday. However, temperatures are going to be partly warm at 69, so a little silver lining there. The weekend looks amazing with temperatures in the 70s. Saturday is definitely going to be the day that you want to get outside, with nothing but sunshine, but a few clouds later on. However, Sunday will not be as nice as we're going to get some rain and possibly even a thunderstorm towards the evening. And then to finish up the week, Tuesday and Wednesday will be high in the 60s with some partly sunny skies. So it's not looking too shabby for this week. We might just have to alternate between an umbrella and sunglasses back and forth, just like the rain and the sunshine. But that'll do it for this week's Other. Let's send it over to Michael Smith with this week's entertainment.
After 10 years and 9 seasons, The Walking Dead has announced that a second spin-off series is in the works. The unnamed series will follow the journey of two young women who were born during the zombie apocalypse. Walking Dead writer Sarah Barnett explained that the creators of this show wanted to provide a fresh take on the events of The Walking Dead, seen from a new perspective. The show may also feature some familiar faces from the original show, as well as AMC's first spin-off, Fear of the Walking Dead. Filming of the first 10 episodes is set to begin in Virginia this summer, and the show is scheduled to premiere on AMC in 2020. While Coachella is coming to California, Netflix has their own spin. Baychella. SUTV's Hannah Grady has the latest update.
What I really want to do is be a representative of my race, of the human race.
In 2018, Beyoncé dominated the stage at Coachella with her infamous performance. About a year later, a Netflix trailer was released on April 8th titled Homecoming, a film by Beyoncé. The 2-minute trailer includes a Maya Angelou voiceover as she speaks about representing her race. The legendary singer takes fans onto the stage of the performance and behind it, revealing the mindset, working atmosphere, and experience as it happened. Her documentary will be out on Netflix on April 17th, exactly a year after her performance. Hannah Grady, SUTV News.
The documentary also focuses on how Beyoncé is the first African-American woman to headline a music festival. Here we go again with Act 5 Spring Musical. Jillian Menken gives us the inside scoop.
The Act 5 Theater Company is in full swing as they prepare for their up-and-coming production of Mamma Mia. Telling the story of a young girl who has 3 possible fathers, she invites all of them to her wedding in an effort to find out the truth.
Sophie is about to get married, and when getting married, it's kind of like traditional to have your father walking down the aisle, and she wants her father to walk her down the aisle. Problem is, she doesn't know who her father is, and it's a whole 2 days of her trying to figure out right before the wedding who's her dad, and it all goes crazy.
Since December, the cast and crew have been non-stop practicing.
We're here for 12 hours, and then we're in the theater 6 hours, 8 hours every single day. So it's been very tough, it's very time consuming.
Even more so after a devastating winter forced them to lose precious rehearsal time.
Oh, we had 5-6 snow days where we couldn't get anything done, and we all kind of went into, not panic mode, but more like, okay, we need to get this done.
But they pressed on nonetheless.
This cast did work a lot behind the scenes, learning their music, even when we didn't have rehearsal, learning their lines together, getting together, and I think that's what brought this show together, is everyone working behind the scenes.
With original songs by ABBA and a story that has captured the hearts of millions, you won't want to miss this mama of a musical.
Definitely come see Mamma Mia and be a dancing queen. It's quite a fun time, and if you love ABBA, that's as much of a reason to come see it. So,
Jillian Menken, SUTV Entertainment.
Mamma Mia premieres tonight at 8 p.m. and runs until Saturday. Tickets are $5 at the door. And finally, Monsters at Work is a new series that will pick up about 6 months after the original movie's ending. They will focus on showing how the world is adapting to these monsters being real and using laughter as a power source instead of screams. The series will release along with Disney's new streaming service, Disney+. John Goodman and Billy Crystal will be revising their roles as Sully and Mike. And that's all we have for entertainment. Let's send it back to the desk.
When we come back, baseball visits Bloomsburg.
And men's and women's track and field are off to a hot start.
This past weekend, Ship visited Bloomsburg for a doubleheader. Mackenzie Mitchell has more.
Shippensburg baseball had a busy weekend facing the Huskies of Bloomsburg in a split-road doubleheader. On Saturday, Ship fell just short in Game 1 in an 8-7 loss, but bounced back for Game 2, sweeping Bloomsburg 15-3. The Raiders finished the doubleheader with 25 hits, including 4 doubles and 4 home runs. Sophomore Scout Knotts went 4 for 8 with a home run, 2 doubles, and 4 RBIs. Senior Tommy Baggett had an impressive performance, going 6 for 8 with a home run, 2 doubles, 4 RBIs, a stolen base, and 4 runs scored. The Raiders then dropped another doubleheader home against the Huskies Sunday afternoon. In Game 1, redshirt sophomore Noah Inch retired 11 consecutive hitters during the first game start, striking out 8 and letting only 1 hit. The final score of Game 1 was 5-3. The Bloomsburg Huskies took the win for the last game of the series, shutting out the Raiders 2-0. Senior Michael Hope struck out 7 batters and only allowed 1 run on 6 hits. Inch and Hope's impressive start, along with Knott's 5-base appearance, unfortunately wasn't enough for the Raiders.
The Raiders face the Westchester Rams this upcoming weekend for another series of doubleheaders. Shippensburg softball took on Millersville in a doubleheader this past Saturday in a PSAC matchup. SUTV's Kyle Remick has more.
Raiders trailed 5-1 heading into the final game, but came up big when it mattered most. Junior Caleb Bonowitz would start off the comeback bid, singling in Lacey Hunter to trim the lead to 3. Later on in the inning, with runners on the corners, freshman Hannah Marsteller showed off her clutch gene under pressure and would slug her 7th bomb of the year to knot it up at 5 apiece with the Marauders. The rookie theme would continue as freshman Grace Palmieri would single and freshman Hannah Johnson would drive her in on a double to the deep left center field gap to seal the deal 6-5. Ship would later go on to complete their first divisional sweep of the season, the second leg of the doubleheader against the Marauders, 4-1.
Shippensburg hosts Kutztown next Friday. First pitch, 2:30. The track team had a busy weekend, and they made the most of it. The 4x4 team continued their usual dominance down in Williamsburg, Virginia. The relay team won the championship race with a time of 3 minutes and 10 seconds. The team who took second, well, they crossed the line a whole 2 seconds after them. They came up just 0.4 of a second short of the PSAC record set by Shippensburg back in 2014. Senior Abby Wagner placed 3rd in the triple jump with a distance of 39 feet. With all of this, there had to have been an Athlete of the Week, right? Well, you'd be correct. Senior Jonathan Stills was named PSAC Men's Athlete of the Week. In the 400-meter hurdles race, Stills had a personal best of 52.13 seconds to win the event. He was also part of the winning 4x4 team. Congrats to Stills and the rest of the track and field team for their dominant weekend. Unfortunately, there's no Stat of the Week this week. Jake Rom will be back with that next week. That's all for sports. Let's send it back to the desk.
The final season of Game of Thrones is only 3 days away, and companies are cashing in big. We have more after the break.
Winter is coming, and so is the money. CNN's Mary Maloney has more.
In Westeros, it's commonly known the Lannisters always pay their debts, and the Iron Bank will have its due. Now, real-world companies want their share of the wealth.
Whatever their price, I'll beat it.
From makeup lines with sword-shaped eyeshadow brushes to jousting Super Bowl ads, the cross-branding is coming. Tech company Duolingo will teach you to speak High Valyrian like a queen.
People that kind of came onto the Duolingo and started learning High Valyrian, 44% of them go on to learn another language.
Adidas has 6 different sneakers representing the various warring factions. Looking for a snack for your journey down the King's Road? Nabisco recreated the show's iconic opening using nearly 3,000 cookies to promote their limited edition Oreos, a treat sweet enough for hot pie.
Secret is browning the butter before making the dough.
Ommegang is crafting a brew to compete with the finest Dornish Red.
I drink and I know things.
While Mountain Dew's Can With No Name takes inspiration from Arya Stark's infamous kill list.
Joffrey, Cersei, Walder Frey, Meryn Trant, Tywin Lannister.
For Consumer Watch, I'm Mary Maloney.
Well, Mike is here because out of the two of us, we don't watch Game of Thrones, which I've been yelled at multiple times for. But Mike, are you excited about the new season?
I am so excited. I'm so glad that they're doing all this stuff to promote the new season and everything. They took a year off so they could make this season the best one. So I got my fingers crossed. I don't know who's going to end up on the throne. I'm so excited.
Now, we were talking about the Oreos. Look really cool. And you said you got the beer.
They did. They've been making a couple like ales and everything that they would make and sell at different stores. And I was able to snag some before everybody else got to them. And well, I think they're pretty great. I'm hoping that this season will be just as good as they are.
And those kicks are pretty nice. I would have bought those.
Oh, I've already tried to pre-order all of them. It's just, I'm so glad that there are other people who watch the show, but sometimes it could be annoying.
That's exciting stuff. Well, that's it for SUTV News. I'm Sean Rapp.
And I'm Isabella Marcelino. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at SUTV News, and check out our website, sutvnews.com.
We'll see you next week.